Thank you so much, Mike, for the warm welcome, and we love the stuff that Lumen does as well. They're a great company pioneering in the space. So I'm going to take you through something interesting today. My name's Rob Hall. I'm the CEO of Playground Xyz. As Mike said, Playground are an attention measurement and optimization company. We do stuff similar to Lumen. And the topic today for me is trying to look at the intersection of two really big trends in the industry. One is, of course, attention, and the other one is context. And when these two things come together, we're going to understand a little bit more about this kind of collision course the two are on. So, of course, when we talk about context, the reason this is popping up as a topic is because of the death of the cookie. So, as cookies die, brands are going to rely on contextual advertising more and more. And the reason we're talking about attention so much, and you've heard this over and over and over, is because more attention equals more outcomes, or better outcomes for your brand. It's basically attention metrics are a bigger predictor of success than other metrics. So the question is, if attention's the goal, and we want to do contextual advertising, how good are we as media buyers or brands or publishers or just consumers, how good are we at understanding natively whether we are appearing in the right context? So I have a little test for you guys today. The test is to try to guess the context where this ad got the highest attention. Okay, have a look at this ad for Under Armour. Move out, get out of the way. Okay, so place your bets. Is it women's health, dating, fitness and exercise, men's clothing, or industries? So can I have hands up for women's health? 1, 2, okay. Can I have hands up for dating? A couple. Fitness and exercise? Well, lots. Men's clothing? Industries? Hey, okay. Okay, the answer is dating. And that's in dating environments and dating contexts, this ad got more attention than it did in fitness and exercise contexts. And we use all sorts of statistical analysis to prove it. I won't go into that today. But when we said dating, only a couple of hands went up. And I would say probably maybe 10% of the audience, generously. So, that kind of shows that we have these biases, like fitness brands belong in fitness environments. And that can be true to a degree, but is that the optimum place for that brand to be in? So, again, if I'm that sportswear brand, maybe I'm thinking about tennis or sport or fitness, but maybe I should be thinking about lifestyle or food or fashion or something else. And when you're picking these contexts, picking the right context for your brand to maximize attention, it's kind of like, bear with me, picking horses in a horse race, okay? This is all horse racing themed from here on out, so apologies. Just like picking a horse, we often pick a context based on the name. I'm a sportswear brand, I'm going to run in sport. Or just like picking a horse, we will use maybe some historical data. That horse has won in the past, maybe it will win again. Just like horse racing, we might get a tip from a friend. Maybe it's the last person to work on the account or a vendor that you choose working with, and they're saying, hey, here's a tip, you should appear here. But the thing is, there's a high degree of chance in all of those. And really what we're trying to say is, how do we use attention data to remove the chance element and actually go and find the right context for our brand to appear in, where they deliver that boost in attention time? So we've just undertaken what we think is the world's largest study into creative, context and attention and the relationship between the three. It's got lots of brands, lots of creatives in it. I'll show you in a sec. And of course, like I promised, the whole thing's horse racing themed for your enjoyment. So, okay. So there's two bits of technology that have been used in this presentation or in this study. One is our tech measures attention on ads. It's real eye tracking, et cetera, et cetera. The other bit of tech is Verity. It's a GumGum product. You're going to hear from Pete next from GumGum. He'll talk a bit more about it. Verity will scan pages and videos to understand, hey, this page is really about sport. This page is really about fitness. This video is really about lifestyle. And that categorizes them into the IAB taxonomy. So the study used both bits of technology. And the whole idea was, can we understand that certain creatives resonate in certain contexts, can we see how predictable that is, and can we intervene and make that better on behalf of brands? And just a side note, I guess when we think that a creative has landed in a context and attention has gone up, we think we are drawing out the signal of ad relevance. And so that's a core thesis, I guess, that we're sort of working on here. Okay, so the study, 683 creatives, 59 brands, 27 million impressions, and all those creatives, 683 creatives across all these different verticals, 59 global blue chip brands, ran in all of these contexts, and sport, news, lifestyle, weather, entertainment, all of those things, right? And what we like to do is to say, all right, what happens to the first context, the top ranking context? How good is that for you? What's the effect of the second ranking context and the third? And to look at how predictable that is over time. So, the first question for you guys that you'd be asking yourselves, or ask myself, is what do I get if I pick the best context for my ad? So what's the prize money here by getting this right in horse racing terms? Okay, just like horse racing, it turns out that the first ranking context gets you the big prize money. So if you can get your ad into the number one position, you get a big boost, a disproportionate boost in attention. So back to my sportswear brand example, maybe it was fitness or lifestyle or sport was the top context. Whatever that was, the top one massively outperforms the average. This is the average, the grass, right? Just like horse racing, if you pick the winner, you get a big return. But also, just like horse racing, there's prizes for second and third place. And you can see here that second place, you get a 40% lift, and third place, you get a 16% lift in attention or additional attention. So I think what's fascinating is that this is over 683 creatives, 59 advertisers. Is it true that there's not a fourth and a fifth place ever? Of course not. Some brands are going to have fourth and fifth and even 10th places. But at scale, what we're seeing is that, like, you have to come first, second, or third. That held true across, sort of all of these advertisers at scale. The second thing is you think, okay, I won. I picked the winner. Good for me. Can I pick that winner next time? So can I use the same horse that I bet on, i.e. can I pick the same context? If it was lifestyle that won for my brands last time, should I bet on lifestyle again to be the context for next time? So to understand this stuff, we looked at the percentage of times for a brand that's running lots of creatives, anywhere greater than 2 and up to 100 some of these brands ran. And what percentage of the time was it true that lifestyle was first for one creative and first for all the others? Or that lifestyle and fitness and health were the top 3 and that repeated over time? So we call this topic contextual continuity. So what was the degree of contextual continuity we see over time across these brands? So here's the thing, all horse racing themes. This is saying what is the likelihood of the top context reappearing? So from the last creative, what's the chance that it will one of the 3, the top 3 from your last ad, are going to place anywhere in the top 3 next time? What is the chance of that? 15%, right? Low. Now this is the study for this is across all the other creatives. So the requirement is that does this hold true for all of your ads? And the answer is no, doesn't. What about if you need to get the number 1 spot? Because remember, the number 1 spot gets double the attention than the average, and the number 2 spot gets 40% above. So the number to do that consistently, time and time again, 8% likelihood. So is this a doom and gloom stat, Rob, etc.? No, it's not. What this is saying is that we've heard presentations today and tomorrow, and it's saying that creative plays such a big role in the attention. Well, when creative and context come together, that certain creative you build resonates in certain contexts. So is it that surprising that when you build a different creative that the contexts don't hold true? It's not really that surprising, is it? But as my fictitious sportswear brand, I can't do one campaign and learn the top 3 contexts and then just say, okay, I've learned everything I need to know and I'm set for the rest of the year. If I launch a new range, if I do a new creative, if I feature a different product shot, all of those things are going to have a bearing on whether I can count on the top performing contexts being the same. And really, I guess it's just another way of saying, each creative wins its own race or runs its own race, and it's not one and done. The last thing is, can I fix the race? Well, cheeky you, okay. Let's start here with a virtual experiment. What we're going to do is say, okay, all horse racing themes, the whole thing. So what we're going to do here is say, okay, we're starting a race. We have 6 runners in this race, 6 different contexts that could be right for my brand or my creative. So at the start of the race, it's a level playing field. We don't know who's going to win. So we'd put £1 or £10 or £100, whatever you want to bet, on each of those horses, right? So we bet on all of them to begin. But halfway through the race, what if we said, well, hang on a sec, this is mid-campaign point now. Halfway through the race, what if we experimented and said, well, we already know who the front runners are now. What if we could replace our bets at this time? That'd be nice in horse racing. You can't do it in horse racing, you can do it in media, and you can do it in an experiment, right? So at this point, we kind of experimented, right, let's just drop those 3 out. We don't need those 3 anymore. Here are the front runners. And what happened if we put all of our money on context B? What happened if we put all of our money on context D or all of our money on context F? And at the end of the race, the winner wins and first, second, third. And we can kind of say that statistically, or we can model that had we invested at the mid-campaign point on B, we would have ended up with 135% more attention than had we not optimized. Had we optimized to D, we would have had 69 and F 42. So again, the big prize goes to identifying the number 1 place and try to get all your money on that one. But if you come second or third, it's great as well. So also, had we got it wrong and placed all our money on the wrong context, we could have actually gone backwards 59%. Turns out that thing was the donkey. You don't want to bet on him. So, takeaways and actions from today. The first thing is context is unequivocally going to become a cornerstone of media buying with the death of the cookie and the rise of the identity-free internet. Brands, agencies, publishers, everyone needs to kind of pay more attention to context. And by doing so, we think that you want to use attention signals and great contextual intelligence to do that. So use attention data to guide you through your contextual strategies. Second thing is we found that there's quite low contextual continuity. So it's not one and done. You can't just run one study and say, I've nailed this. You really need to get in there, put some measurement down and measure stuff at a creative level. Where is this creative performing well? Where is this creative performing well? Because only 8% of the time is it the same for all of your creatives. The third thing is there's huge potential gains for optimizing. The juice is worth the squeeze here, guys. And remember, this experiment was mid-campaign optimization. Well, in 2022, we don't wait till half the campaign's gone. You actually do this stuff in real time now. So all of those stats are actually a lot higher. So optimize in real time to place the best bets. That's it from me. We have the full white paper coming out next week. We've got an event we're running next Thursday. A couple of spots left. If you're interested, come and chat to me or Nick. We've got the pink umbrella outside near the kind of bar area. We've got a couple of spots, get you on the wait list or in. It's not horse racing themed. It's a bit more scientific, but if you're interested, we'd love to have you there. Thanks heaps.
So thanks very much, Rob. Thanks very much, Rob. That was really, really interesting. And obviously we've got a little bit more detail about the same sort of thing just coming up in a second. But we have just one question that I wanted to put to you, which is following on from Soren's talk about the creative. Obviously for FMCG brands, they are often, usually, most of the advertising is brand sort of advertising, getting people to remember stuff in general rather than performance stuff. With your stuff here you're talking about, do you see the same sort of impact for performance and brand drivers or brand advertisers, or are there nuances that you've seen, or?
There are definitely nuances. What we've actually got, this white paper is the generalization kind of thing, and the next thing we do in about 3 or 6 months' time, we're going to verticalize all the data. So you might see some of those effects stronger or weaker for certain categories, like FMCG might have less a sort of relevance or less of a sort of delta with the context, and higher contextual continuity than someone like automotive.
Right.
So yeah, so that's all coming soon.
Right. Can you give us any hints and tips at the moment?
Not at the moment.
We just have to wait with bated breath.
You have to wait.
Well, guys, thank you very much to Rob. A big round of applause if you can. That'd be fantastic. Thank you.